Good day, everyone. Good day. Welcome to Morning Sip with Reb Melissa. I am Reb Melissa. SIP stands for Spirit in Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's been a full week in my universe. How are you doing? How are you doing? So, last night I had the opportunity, well, really yesterday afternoon, had the opportunity to witness my goddaughter dance at Alvin Ailey, and it was spectacular. She was in a African dance piece, and so much energy, so much vibrancy. I was just so excited to see her in her joy because she is a dancer, um, loves ballet in particular. So I just want to shout her out. I was just a really proud godmother watching her and got to spend some time with one of my best friends whose daughter is my goddaughter. So, really, really good Thursday evening for me. And a really good way for me to check in. So, that's what we talked about yesterday, checking in and taking a moment to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What is going on with you? What is it that you need? And then listening, right? Listening for the answers when we ask ourselves those questions. So I shared a little bit yesterday from the Science of Mind magazine, one of the daily guides titled Everything Fits Together Perfectly. And when we spend time in that space of inquiry and we have a spiritual perspective about our lives, we can begin to see how everything fits together, how the dots start to connect with one another. When it seemed like it was just all over the place, disconnected, chaotic, we could start to see from this lens, this spiritual lens, that there is divine order at hand. So last night, when I was winding down and just looking at the day and kind of doing like a little assessment of the day, what came up for me was yes, we're talking about checking in, but the other side of checking in is checking out. And sometimes when we check in, the information that we receive is that we may need to check out. Anyone have that experience? I may need to check out. I may need to take a moment and check out. And that came up for me last night because it's been a very full week for me. And I know it's been a full week for many of you. Actually, this summer has been pretty full and it's going by, it seems to be going by, I should say, going by very fast. Because in a couple of weeks, my girls will be going back to college. And it feels like they just got here, the other day. So when you check in, do you listen? Do you pay attention to the wisdom, the inner wisdom, and what it is speaking to you about? And what came up for me last night when I was doing my check in was, Melissa, you may need to check out just for a little bit. You may need to check out because I've been going, y'all. I have been going. So I'm sitting with that. I haven't made any definitive plans. And then I also recognize that August is tomorrow, right? And August is that month where I typically do take a break from my live shows. After I get the girls settled in, I usually take a little break. So I will let you know when that will be occurring. I've been thinking about, I mentioned her before. She has an amazing book called Rest is Resistance. Um, Last name Hershey, can't think of her, Trisha Hershey, Rest is Resistance. She has a practice of checking out the whole month of August. She takes a sabbatical. She takes a break from social media. She takes a break from emails. She unplugs and she is serious about it. And one of the things I heard her give a talk earlier this year, and she says, although people know that she's on a sabbatical, people still reach out to her. And she says people will say to her, even though they know she is checked out, she is checking out by taking her sabbatical. She said people will reach out to her because she would check after had checked back in, right? After her sabbatical, she would go and check her emails. And she said there would be a number of emails where people would say, I know you're on sabbatical, but would you do ... Right? So it is important that we honor ourselves by enforcing that boundary when we decide this is my checking out period. Because it's human nature for people to test our boundaries, consciously or unconsciously. People test our boundaries, but it is our responsibility when we make the decision to protect our peace that we do so without compromise, without compromise. And I am learning this at a deeper level through my volunteering. I'm learning the importance of honoring my boundaries and respecting myself by protecting my peace. Can anyone relate to this? Let me check in with y'all. Good day, Pamela. Good to see you. Hey, Patty. Yes, indeed. Yes, Pamela. And Sekou said, I need to check out maybe. All right. So check in. Check in with yourself to see if you need to check out. Because the other part that I want to just raise here is that checking out is not about avoidance. Checking out is not a way to avoid from doing or taking care of or whatever the things are. That is not what checking out is about. So it's not about avoidance. It's not about distracting ourselves. It really is about honoring ourselves by taking care of ourselves and protecting our peace. That's how I am defining it for myself when I say I'm checking out. So I was reading during my inspirational reading this morning, and Rev Joan introduced me to this classic, y'all. It's a classic, Ernest Holmes, Good for You, kind of laid out like a workbook. And so I was reading it this morning, and it basically is a compilation of many of his writings in a essay format. And I'm reading from the beginning, and I come upon this paragraph. It's an affirmation. And it's so in alignment with what I'm talking about today and where I was last night when I was checking in, and my intuition, my sweet, sacred inner voice said, we need to prepare for a checkout. We need to prepare for a checkout. And so then this morning, because this is how my life works, this morning I read this. This is what we mean when we say that we should discover ourselves and try to live from that discovery. When we are confused and trying to go in 40 directions at once, which is the most psychologically and physiological disintegration and devastating thing anyone can do, we should definitely turn from the confusion and get by ourselves. Then we should come to the realization of a divine presence and the strength and stability of its inward peace, recognizing that there is but one life, that life is God, that life is within us, and there is no confusion in that life. We begin to identify with that life. We could say, I am one with God's peace. There is no confusion in me. At the center of my being is peace. There is nothing to be afraid of. At the center of my being, the eternal peace forever dwells in security. I love that. I am one with God's peace. There is no confusion in me. At the center of my being is peace. There is nothing to be afraid of. At the center of my being, the eternal peace forever dwells in security. And let's just take a breath. Peace, y'all. Eternal peace dwells within us. And so sometimes our check-in reveals to us that it is time to check out. It is time to check out. In any way that evolves for you, you determine what that looks like for you, right? And I am in the process of determining what that looks like for me, because I am one with God's peace. I am one with God's peace. And as I was writing this morning, after I did my inspirational reading, I thought about my quality. And the initials of my quality is TLC: truth, love, and connection. Truth, love, and connection, right? So even that is in alignment. And speaking of qualities, how are y'all doing with your qualities? How are you holding your quality? Do you need to take some time to check out with your quality? Truth, love, and communication, not connection. Truth, love, and communication. Communing with myself is one of the ways that I check in to see what I need to check out, right? So what is your relationship now with that quality that at the beginning of the year, we are entering the 8th month of the year, y'all. Many of us selected our qualities almost 8 months ago. So what is your engagement with it? Are you checking in with yourself through the lens and the perspective of your quality? Or have you forgotten about it again? And this is an opportunity for you to check in with your quality and see what you need to check out. So I think this is a good time to do a roll call for our quality, just as a reminder, and to, I hope, inspire you to really embody your quality and to have a conversation with your quality, right? There's nothing like having a conversation with truth, love, and communication. So I invite you to try that on for yourself this weekend. This weekend. And speaking of being at the end of the month, one of the things that we do is we take an assessment of our month. How did things go? What did I accomplish? What have I made progress on? What's getting carried over into the next month, right? So we're looking at our completions for the month, and we're looking at our creations for the new month. What are some of your intentions for August? As you check out of July and prepare yourself to check in to August, right? So I'm clear. I'm checking into August with the intention of checking out by taking time to commune with the peace that I am. How about you? How about you? So let's do a quality roll call. And I invite you to affirm your quality. I invite you to affirm your quality. I'm looking to see if I have a drum roll. I don't think I do. All right, no drum roll, y'all. We just gonna do this. All right. So when I say your quality, please affirm it with feeling, invoking, commanding, declaring, decreeing your quality. Shay, align, allow, create, radiate. Fee, community and connection. Deborah, co-creation. Linda, self-love. Pamela, compassion. Eugene, discipline. L, curiosity. Sekou, abundance and laughter. Chris, harmony. Joan, joy. Jan, presence. Nelda, abundance. Lorna, love. Ophelia, silence. Lorna, kindness. Karen, purpose. Susan, contentment. Brenda, health. Fee, Faye, courage. Lisa, intentionality. Susie, peace. Cheryl, harmony. Tajay, perseverance. Nadia, discernment. Lauren, generosity. Kristen, spiritual growth and maturity. Maureen, sisterhood. Andrea, hope, purpose, and joy. Tanya, peace. Caroline, peace. Sue, acceptance. Gladys, compassion. Cynthia, trusting. Bonnie, love, peace, bravery, and prosperity. So, check in with your quality and see what it is that you may need to check out. All right, y'all. All right. So, I'm going to check in with y'all on this next week. All right. So, think about, assess July, intentions for August. Give that gift to yourself. Write it down. I cannot stress the importance of writing things down, being with it, taking it in. All right, let's get into some joy news. So for this weekend at Rockland CSL, where I am the spiritual leader, we have a full weekend. We are playing. We're going out of July, which is our Play Well month, with a bang. So tomorrow we are having a backyard play date at Cheryl's, who is the president of our leadership council at Rockland CSL. And then on Sunday, we are wrapping up our summer celebration series, Love Lives Here, with our service at Rev Jones' home, which is amazing. And I am so grateful that she has opened up her home for this, for our community. So if you're in the neighborhood, please join us. You can send me an email at IamRedMelissa, and I will send you the address because I'm not going to publicize people's home addresses. So I am Red Melissa. I'll put my email address in here. I am Red Melissa at gmail.com. So you can email me if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Rockland County area and want to have some fun. Let's say that. Let's say that. So that's what's happening this weekend. All right. I think that's it, y'all. I think that's it. Patty says she can relate as well. So I'd love to hear next week some ways in which you will be checking in and checking out. All right? All right, y'all. So have a wonderful today. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.